Hey guys, today we gotta be a little quiet right now because I just snuck into the palace of a king. Yeah, this is where the king hangs out, where the king resides, where the king, has all of his people gather around him and does his kingly things, whatever they may be. But today, when we talk about a king, we're not talking about a king that resides in a palace like this. We're talking about the true king, the one king. You guys know who it is, right? Jesus. Jesus is king. But I wonder why. I wonder why that's true. The Bible tells us many stories of kingly moments that Jesus had. In fact, one of them is where we get Palm Sunday from, or the celebration of Palm Sunday. It comes to us from the book of Matthew. And Jesus was getting ready to enter the city of Jerusalem. And before he was going to go in, he sent a couple of his disciples out to a neighboring village to find a donkey. And they brought the donkey back to him. He climbed up on the donkey and rode it into the city. Now the people of Jerusalem were ecstatic to see Jesus coming in. The crowds gathered round. They were yelling and screaming and cheering and shouting. And it was custom when a king was coming into town, they would cover the ground so that the king or the king's animal would not actually touch the dirt itself. So the people of the town took their coats and were throwing their coats on the ground. They were ripping palm branches and tree branches off and covered the whole ground for Jesus and this donkey to walk across. And they were shouting and screaming. They were so ecstatic about their king. They believed that Jesus really was the Messiah, the King of the Jews. And you guys know what? The same reasons that they believed Jesus was the Messiah and the King are the same reasons that we can believe Jesus is the Messiah and is the King. The first reason that we can believe that Jesus is who he said he was, that Jesus is the Messiah, that Jesus is King, are the things called prophecies. Prophecies are these words that were written in the Old Testament and in other ancient books that predict certain things that the Messiah has to do in order to be the Messiah, in order to be the King. And the Bible has over 60 different prophecies that have actually all come true through Jesus or because of Jesus. There was where he was born in the Old Testament. It says that he would be born in Bethlehem. And of course, we know Jesus was born in yes, Bethlehem. It says that Jesus, the Messiah, would be from the line of David, the family of David, and we find out that's true too. It says in one of the prophecies that Jesus would be betrayed by a good, close friend, and we found that to be true too. And the Bible even says that Jesus would be bought for 30 pieces of silver, or that he would be betrayed by his friend for 30 pieces of silver, and we found that to be true as well. Over 60 of these prophecies that were in the Old Testament that Jesus made true. In fact, even the fact that Jesus rode a donkey into the town, that was a prophecy from the Old Testament that we now know came true. You see, guys, it's kind of like this dot-to-dot picture of Jesus. And you put all these dots and scatter them all around, and you start filling in the lines, one line to another, to another, to another. The picture becomes really clear. When you take these prophecies, are just like these dots. And when you fill it in, you get the full picture of who the King is. Now, another reason that we can believe that Jesus is the Messiah and Jesus is the King is, in fact, another one of the prophecies. In fact, it's actually many prophecies that predicted or that said that Jesus or the Messiah or the King would do many miracles. And if you guys know from coming here and from reading your Bibles, the Bible is chock full of miracles that Jesus did. I mean, the blind were able to see, the deaf were able to hear, the lame were able to get up and walk. I mean, one of my favorite things ever that Jesus did was walking on water. I mean, how cool is that? You don't see that every day or at all. Jesus did that. That was amazing. Another time, they're in the boat and the waves are rocking and Jesus just gets up and says, "Storm, stop." Do you guys know anyone that can do that? I don't know of any other king that could stop a storm or walk on water or even raise people from the dead. Jesus did all these things. Jesus, the Messiah, the true King, did some amazing miracles, guys. And that is another reason that we can believe he is who he said he was. And he is the King, the Messiah. When you look at the prophecies and you look at the miracles, you realize, guys, that Jesus really is King. So what does this mean for you? What does this mean for me? You know, in order for Jesus to be King and to be King of our lives, we can't be King. We must make Jesus more important than anything else. We must get up off the throne and put Jesus in the throne of our lives. We can do this by praising him, by worshiping him, by giving him the glory when things go well, by thanking him for all the wonderful, amazing blessings that we have and that we've been given, and by living our lives like Jesus really is the most important thing in it. Whether it's at school, at home, in our neighborhoods, with our friends on our sports teams, we, you and me, need to put Jesus as King of our lives, the most important thing in our lives. Wait, did you guys hear that? I think the guards are coming.